Hello once again, audience, to use the annoying Toby entrance. It's me, DJ Jazzy Jeff, here to talk to you about video games in today's DJ Jeff's Quiet Time with DJ Jeff, that's what it's called. Sorry I missed maybe the last couple weeks, but my 8 viewers will really care a lot. Today, I thought we'd talk about something in video games that, I don't know, just struck me. Because whatever, it's just quiet time. We're just being quiet. Hello. We're just being quiet together. You and me. Yeah. Today, I was playing Monster Hunter. And I was just kind of musing on the concept of game guides. There are a lot of people talking about game guides right now, just, I don't know, by some weird coincidence. It's kind of a hot topic about the difference between online and actual physical ones and why the physical ones haven't died out, things like that. But I'm thinking more in terms of when it's okay to use them. And who cares? Wow. You know, now that I've said that, I think I say that pretty much every single episode about who cares. As I bring up a quote-unquote supposedly controversial subject and then say, you know what, care about less things. But, this is something that you might want to care about. Spit an example at you. When Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda GameCube and Wii game came out, we had a friend who's super huge on Zelda games, but for some reason, he felt the need to buy the premium version that came with the attached super thick and really fun to read strategy guide. I think it was a Prima one, but I can't remember who has... No, Nintendo Power does those. The official Nintendo ones, I think. Could be wrong. But anyway, as he played through the game, he actually followed the guide step by step to make sure he got every single heart piece, every single golden bug, everything. Everything, all in one go. And it's funny, it kind of made me mad at the time. This was like 9 years ago, 5, something like that. And at the time it kind of made me mad because obviously, in at least my opinion, if you're using a guide and reading through exactly how to play a game as you play it, you're missing out on the point of video games. This is at least how I approached it, right? You're missing out on the point of the game, which is, like, why not just watch a movie if other people play it? Why not watch a Let's Play? Or watch the movie adaptation or read the novelization if you're just going to follow the game guide through to do it. And that's normally been my opinion. You know, I refuse to read anything related to a game in case there's any kind of spoilers until I've beaten it. I don't, if there's like a Reddit post on it, I just hide that right away. If as addicted to TV tropes as I am, if there's a TV tropes entry, I refuse to even look at it until I've beaten the game. I even rarely skim Wikipedia articles. I don't even look at IMDb cast listings because, honestly, finding out that a specific voice actor's been in something, and the fact that a character is in it can be surprising. Like their last name can be a spoiler, let's face it, looking at some Kojima things. Some Metal Gear games, if you have no idea what that means. But a guide, then, would be, completely taking away all actual interaction of the game, other than you inputting the commands instead of someone else. Sort of like you saying you've written a book when really all you've done is sat there while someone tells you every single word to put into the book. It may become a bestseller, but you didn't actually write it, someone else did. And that seems to be taking away from the purpose of video games and the actual thing that makes them a unique art. And, I talk very often about video games being accepted as a mainstream art style and, the fact that they need to break away from other arts in order to be accepted as that. You could make a video game that requires absolutely no interaction other than pressing start and has a really awesome story and stuff, but you're really not just doing anything but watching a movie. So what's the point of it? This has always been my opinion. And then I started playing Monster Hunter with JD. And now I'm not so sure, because that game is very hard, but in multiple ways. It's really hard in a figure out how you're supposed to kill each individual mark slash hunt slash monster. It's hard in a get the mechanics and the movement systems down type way. And it's really hard just in a strategy way. You know, should I do this now? Should I do that now? Even if you can pull off the perfect dodge attack combo, you're probably still going to get hurt eventually, and you need to know when you're, supposed to heal and stuff like that. And it doesn't really explain all of these things to it. It explains a lot. It explains a lot if you go through the single-player thing. A lot of stuff that in our Let's Play, if you watch it, you may notice we ignore. Or skimmed over and we didn't catch, whatever. But then we wasted literally an hour and 20 minutes going after a specific hunt, and we came away with really no extra knowledge about how to kill it. And I said, well, obviously we need to do more research. So I looked online, did some research on how to kill it, and I'm going through this stuff, and I'm like, I'm just consulting a guide. I'm missing the point of the game. But am I? Because Monster Hunter, like I said, isn't just about how to kill the monsters. It's about managing to use that information and actually kill it. So even though now I know specific weak points on the monster, which about lined up with what I thought, and, specific weapons that'll probably fare better against it, which, after dying 300,000 times, I started to make my own conclusions about that. I still, confirmed a couple extra strategies that will probably give me an edge the next time we go against it. But those won't necessarily be the game for me. I'm still going to have to manage to put that stuff to work to kill it. So, what does that mean? With games, there's multiple aspects of them. As I said for the Monster Hunter, there's the research, there's the preparation, and then there's the actual killing. The putting into practice of all of it. In terms of a Zelda game, there is some stuff that's the combat things, which do require mechanical skills, but a lot of it are the puzzles, and some of it is the story which you experience. Monster Hunter doesn't really have a story, so we can just skip over that part. Or what story it has doesn't really matter. It's not really why you're playing the game. Whereas for Zelda, that is generally some of the reason you're playing the game, especially in the newer ones. But, a lot of it isn't necessarily things that a walkthrough will help you. A walkthrough will not beat a boss for you. It won't win a combat for you. It won't do a tricky timing segment for you. But then you get to games such as, for instance, Riven or Myst, which I've been playing. And it's so hard. But those games, other than the story, have absolutely nothing to them that a walkthrough won't solve for you. When you have a game that's 100% puzzles with no real time limits or anything like that, a walkthrough is actually playing the game completely for you. Which is really kind of a funny thing. I mean, you can read a synopsis of a movie and you still won't have seen the movie, right? And it's almost like that for walkthroughs. But if you read just a couple pointers on a guide for Monster Hunter, where does that become cheating? And what does it affect for you? In thinking about it, in thinking about this whole problem, the guide problem, if you will, and what it means to gaming, I think about my friend who got the guide for Zelda. And, there are so many possible things you can get out of games. You might get the physical interaction that gives you sort of this cathartic love for it. You might only be playing games for the story or to see them happen on screen. If I'm not playing Zelda for the satisfaction of solving the puzzles myself, and I'm playing it for everything else, then a guide isn't really taking anything away from me. It's just making it easier to access the parts that I want to get to. And I'm all for that, I guess. Okay, obviously, if you read facial expressions and aren't an android, You can tell I'm not really all for that, just because, I mean, if I'm a game maker, I want people to experience the full game that I made. But if the people own your game, then I don't really see a problem with them looking to play it how they want to play it. As long as there isn't a multiplayer component, obviously, because that's just giving a distinct advantage or giving yourself a disadvantage. But, like, if you only are playing Myst or Riven because you like looking at the game, because you like the visuals, and man, the visuals and the sound design, man, I could go on about this all day. Within the first 50 minutes of Riven, I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy who made these sounds is amazing. They have so much weight. Oh, I love it. But if you're just playing the game for that, then I guess I don't really care if you look up how to solve the puzzles, as long as later you don't go like, oh yeah, I totally beat Riven, yeah, whatever. Because, like, I mean, then you're just claiming things you don't actually own. But even if I look up how to beat some of these monsters in Monster Hunter, I mean, I'll admit to help looking at a guide for tips, but I'm pretty sure the satisfaction of being able to beat it will still be there. And hopefully I'll be more satisfied once I start figuring out how to kill these monsters on my own. Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure I'll have more of a satisfaction there. But who cares if you cheated a game? That's the single player, I guess. If you are, you know, taking away something, then all you're hurting is yourself. Or if you're a reviewer, obviously you're like possibly hurting sales if you give a bad review because you cheated on a game. And you then later say it's way too easy. But I mean, that's... You're just taking away from yourself. I leave you with this. The first time I played Warcraft 2, I fell in love with it. We eventually bought it. I got about halfway through one of the campaigns, probably Orc, because they were way more fun. And they had to start cheating because it was way too hard. And although I beat it, I don't really remember the story past that point, and I never had the satisfaction of it. And later I had a really hard time playing the game without cheating. Really hard. Like, I don't think I'd played it again without cheating. So, in that case, I did hurt myself, and luckily, I'm the only person who suffers from it. So, that's your quiet time with me, Jeff.